too.
We're live.
That's the way to do it, man. I love this.
Oh, thank you guys. What is up, everybody? We are back. MuseMe TV, episode 138. 138. Dude, we've been grinding them out this week, and I'm very proud of myself. And today is no different. We have a very special guest in the studio. This guy's amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, there's so much to discuss, so much to talk about. Give me a second. We'll have to switch a little bit on here. There we go. And Jaden, everybody. Jaden in the studio. What is up, man?
Hello, hello, hello.
How's it going?
It's going great, man. I can't complain. How about yourself?
Dude, it's awesome. I've been having a great time, not quarantine and stuff.
Right.
I remember there were your post where you were talking about like you were discussing concerts and stuff, how that's totally gone, and
Right.
social interaction at all.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you came to the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This is an honor.
I really appreciate that, man. And thank you for the heads up in the beginning where you're like, should I wear a mask or not? that's the new question nowadays.
Right. Yeah, it totally is, man. I wanted to be courteous and comply to any rule. I'm happy to wear a mask or to not wear a mask.
That's good, man. that just shows you're a good guy. I mean,
Thank you.
I
wish that was everything you needed to be a good person.
Oh man, I guess we can start off with morals and values. I'm just kidding.
We don't want to get that deep.
We'll start too much so fast.
Right.
I know you from the local music scene.
Yes.
So you play in a band
Yep.
called Patema.
Yep. And it's pronounced Patema.
Patema.
Yeah. A
Okay.
lot of people pronounce it Pantera, but that's not who we
Yeah,
are.
I can't see that at all.
No.
Patema looked a little bit more because of the E, the way it's
Right.
kind of, but it's pronounced
Patema.
Patema.
Yeah. I feel like we should throw like a little, like, one of those symbols,
asterisk something, or
Yeah, like one of those symbols that dictates how a letter should be pronounced. We should probably do that.
that'd be actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that actually might do the trick. You might see that.
That's actually not bad. You heard it here, folks. First on MuseMe TV.
That's right.
So yeah, you've been playing music since what? A semen cell?
Pretty much, dude. I mean, officially, 9 years old was when I started playing music.
Okay, and then question: How old are you?
I am 22.
22. So from 9 to 22, you've been playing that whole time.
That's right.
And what was, I guess, the motivation? What made you want to start playing?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I can't pinpoint like one specific thing that made me want to play music. The earliest memories I have was when I was like 3 years old, like just a child, and my dad always listened to 80s metal and stuff like that in the car, and kids usually at that age can't comprehend what they're really listening to. They're still trying to like visually experience life before they audibly experience it.
Okay.
So, but for whatever reason, I zoned in on it, and I remember being like 3 years old, like late in the night, like trying to mimic the sound of a distorted guitar, like like something stupid like that. So I would remember like writing little songs, and then I'd run to my mom's room and be like, "Mom, check out this song," in my 3-year-old language, and try and perform it for her. So there's like, I don't know if there's any videos of that, but that's what I remember, and my parents as well. So that kind of just materialized into a passion for music later on. And when I was 9 and I could understand things a little more, that's when I decided to pick up a guitar.
Okay, so the guitar was actually your first instrument
That's
too.
right.
Nice. That's awesome because there's actually some people that take different avenues when they do pick up an instrument. Like, especially at 9 years old, say you got forced to do band or something.
Right, yeah.
Say you play a trumpet or some woodwind or something, and you're just like, oh man. But then you get introduced a little bit to the idea of music,
Right.
and then that throws an avenue to drums, keyboard, guitar.
Yeah. It's funny. Like kids will start on like the flute or something, and they hate it, but it gives them enough of an introduction to want to pick up something that like they feel like they can play, or be inspired to play. So yeah, it's so funny that those traditional instruments, always end up turning into like one of the major ones, like guitar, drums, or bass, or whatever.
Yeah, and it's I think it's just the avenue that it hits is the music, and like you said, when you were smaller, you kind of like, I don't know, mimic the sound with your voice and stuff like that because you love the way, just the sound of it, the rhythmic notes, the way that it kind of caught your ear and the attention of it.
Yeah.
Like I see kids nowadays that I don't know if you've ever heard of this band. They're called Necrogoblicon.
I love Necrogoblicon.
Dude, I'm so into them too.
They're so sick.
But they have a song that they recently released on the album called "The Magic Spider," which is like a really like ballady piano happy song.
Right.
And they posted little kids singing this song, like if it was like a nursery rhyme or something. And it's that little thing too, because they're not really knowing what they're saying or singing, but the magic spider magic, and it's so cool because it just shows the love of music in a whole different way.
Yeah, totally, man. It's awesome. I was introduced to Necrogoblicon by an old friend of mine who lived in like Ireland, and I knew her from Instagram like just forever ago. And I think the first song I heard was Powercore.
Dope.
And
I know that's a dope. Well, exactly. And then I started to research a little more and found out the concept.
Right.
Goblin metal. What?
Goblin core, dude. It's the way it is.
That's dope. I was really intrigued with them. So they're one of my favorite bands right now. I'm totally just in depth with them. I've been working on a little bit of their songs and stuff, cool. And it's fun. The only sad part is I don't have a 7-string.
Oh no, you don't?
Yeah, and there's been so many times where I'm just like, no, I need one, but then I'm just like, oh man, I still got to get better on the guitars that I have.
Dude, that was my mindset when I made the jump to a 7-string initially. I was like, well, I'm not like as good as I want to be on a 6-string yet, so I shouldn't get a 7-string.
Yeah,
but I think that's kind of it's an interesting ideal to have when it comes to guitar. Because I mean the thing about it is you still have 6 strings on your 7-string, so you can still get as good as you want on a 6-string. You know, you can have just a little extra fun, in my opinion. So I picked it up because I joined a band that used them, and I had to learn all their songs.
And they use
and they use 7s, and I was primarily a 6 player. And dude, it changed my life. Like our whole new record is going to be pretty much on a 7-string.
Dope.
Yeah.
I don't want to say this because I probably sound like a little novice or anything, but you're like a local legend.
Thank you.
I feel like, a lot of people talk about you and you're like a very talented guitar player. And I've seen some of your videos and stuff. And I'm just like, God damn, this guy's dope. I hate him. And he's younger than I am.
Oh man, dude, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, but it's really awesome. It's a great to see like how amazing that somebody else can actually be at something else that nobody actually really plays. Like if you think about it, we know a lot of guitar players and we know a bunch of people that are like, yeah, I'm good, he's good. We know good people. But in hindsight, that's like 1% of the actual general population that just is wowed by the amazing stuff that we do.
Right.
So that blows me away too. It's just like how amazing you are at guitar.
Thanks, man. Yeah, dude, guitars, it's so cool. And it's funny because people always say like, oh man, guitar players are a dime a dozen. And I mean, I guess you can say that that's true, but I don't know, man. I think guitar players just have this unique connection with each other. Like we share all the tips and the secrets, and we really genuinely try and help people learn and progress, you know? And I think, the more guitar players, the better. If that's the case, man, if we can build a community around that, you know, everybody should play guitar.
That's true. And it's such a great exercise. There's so much brain work to it. Like I saw a bunch of videos of like the science neurons of our brains working. I'm just like, that's amazing.
Yeah, dude, just music in general, the way our brains react to it. It's like, there's a reason why doctors basically try and treat Alzheimer's with music therapy.
Okay.
You know, because it really does activate the brain and it restores a lot of the, damaged cells or whatever, it's medicine essentially.
That's true. Because I heard a story where there was actually a guy that had Alzheimer's and forgot a lot of things, but when he played a piano, he remembered a lot of songs that he used to play back as a kid.
Yeah.
But that's crazy to think about too, because there's more in development than just like remembering that stuff, like the muscle memory and stuff like that too.
Totally.
Because when I was your age, sounds weird, right? That sounds weird. God damn, why did I just say that? Damn it. I actually got in a ski accident where I was actually in a coma for 2 days.
Really? No way.
Airlifted off of the resort. They had to take me to the hospital, everything.
Oh, no.
And after I got out of the hospital and actually did try to play guitar, it just felt so weird.
No way.
It actually did feel like I didn't know how to play some things.
Wow.
The feeling of the muscle memory loss was the craziest part to me, because I was like, I've done this millions and millions of times. Why can I not do this?
Right.
I practiced it. It came back to me pretty fast, not as long as it took me to develop it.
Right.
But it was a pretty scary moment where I was just like, is this really how stuff can just be erased from your brain so simply? Is like,
oh my God, dude, that's terrifying. That's crazy. I'm so glad you're okay. And I mean, you got back your abilities, which is amazing. That's another testament to the power of
music,
and just the human brain. But yeah, man, I remember I was like 16 and I fell on a skateboard and broke my collarbone, and that put me out of commission for 6 weeks, where I just like couldn't use my arm in an effective way to play guitar, and that sucked. But I can't imagine like a real injury, you know, and then also forgetting, dude, that's insane.
Yeah, it was kind of traumatizing, and I was just like, oh man, this sucks. I mean, I'm pretty sure my life was not going to be this bad, but my friends and stuff tell me stories of like high school and stuff, and they're just like, yeah, remember this? I'm just like, I don't remember.
Whoa. So yeah, it's like still memory loss, things that you can't remember.
I still have some things, and maybe I don't know. Maybe there's something that triggered if I just give it a good little knock in once in a while. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to develop a superpower here. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's like the episode of SpongeBob where Squidward got hit in the face and like turned like beautiful.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe you just like need a little knock in the head. And
he's calling me ugly, guys.
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh man, I love everything. No man, that's so cool. What is that? Judas, thank you for joining. Drowning and Glenn Dipton best duo. Oh, KK Downing and Glenn from. I can't believe I'm forgetting this. KK Downing, the guitar player.
Yeah, KK Downing. I'm also blanking.
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest. Okay,
yes, Judas Priest. Right. Yeah, they are a very good duo.
Absolutely. The concept of duos, man, you can talk for hours.
Let's have some fun, man.
All right.
Okay, let's go. We're probably gonna bore the fuck out of you because I want to learn. All right. You actually are a fucking encyclopedia of knowledge right now that I have for like an hour, so I'm gonna take advantage of this shit.
Here we go.
When you play music and you start to develop skills in like playing scales, arpeggios, legato licks, does that become more of a feeling type thing where you just go off of licks, or kind of like playing off of the cuff? Or do you really practice that lick over and over and over again so that it's just ingrained in you, so that it's not improv? It's just, I know that I'm playing C sharp major. I know that I'm playing this. I know I'm playing that. Like,
yeah. So
how did you develop your playing? Do you play by ear? Are you I'm asking too many questions already.
No. I'm gonna answer every single one. So do I play by ear? Yes, I do play by ear. Have I had formal training? Yes, I have.
In like musical notation, or somebody telling you, like showing you like the circle of fifths and stuff like that?
More of that. Like, here's how you play guitar. Okay. You know, more of that stuff. My guitar teacher, Paul Wilson, is just the best guitar teacher in the world. Yes.
He taught you music, man. He taught you how to play, man. It has to be done.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, Paul Wilson, man, I will give it to him.
That's enough, guys. Stop. Thank you.
He really tried his best. And the reason I say that is because I wasn't always the best student.
Okay.
You know, all I wanted to do was learn how to play Scorpion songs.
Dude, that's dope.
All I wanted to do. And he was like, hey, man, here's this cool thing called the circle of fifths, or music theory, and you should probably figure that out, and I'm going to help you. And I was like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but like AC/DC is way too much fun to play.
Yeah.
And I, for a really long time, ignored music theory. And because of it, I'm really not a theory guy. I just play based off of feel and by ear. So there's always two camps of players, you know, the camp that I consider myself to be in, which is the ear player. Yes.
Oh, thank you. He's from Germany right now.
Oh, whoa, Germany. Sick. And the theoretical guys. And like, let's take one of my favorites, for example, John Petrucci of Dream Theater.
The demigod.
That's right. He names out the chords and the scales that he's playing as he's playing them. He counts the time signatures. Like, he's so in tune to his music that he's able to think about those types of things while he's performing.
Yeah.
And I'm just too dumb for that.
But that doesn't that come from his history as well too? Like
Well,
we said, I know a little bit about him. Like he came from Juilliard. He met
Right.
like he did all the music thing. He's probably like
Right.
just kind of like you. Started at a young age.
Right. Yeah.
When you started at a young age playing, was it still kind of just playing at the feeling kind of level, or did they kind of like force you to learn the music theory?
It was never forced.
Okay.
It was absolutely never forced. It was always strongly encouraged, which I appreciated, because as soon as I feel forced to do something, I like don't want to do it. I don't know if that's a normal human reaction or just me.
Well, I'm glad you did this podcast.
Dude, I wasn't forced. I wanted to be here. So yeah, it wasn't forced. But the way I learned initially, like at 9 years old when I picked up a guitar, it was like Mary Had a Little Lamb,
Okay.
And it was as simple as that. And that was feel. It wasn't like here are the notes and you're playing a little C, D, it's like, don't worry about that.
La
Just,
la la. Yeah, you're
you-
playing the sound of it.
Just, I started singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Are those songs the same melody? No, absolutely not. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, at that point, it's all feel. You're just getting the feel of the string and you're hearing the note and you're making an association. But the more you understand about music, that's when you can start kind of diving deeper into what theory is.
Okay.
And theory is insane, dude. It's so helpful. It really is. And I know enough about it to where like I'll utilize it when I'm stuck.
For some ideas and
For
stuff like that.
ideas, or like I'm writing something and I just cannot figure out what to play over it, because everything for me starts from improv. I'll just play and I'll play and I'll play until something clicks and I like it.
Dope.
But if I can't do that and I'm really struggling, then I'll be like, okay, so what exactly is going on here? And then I'll dissect what I've written, learn the theory behind it, and then apply what I know to it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's
So I
dope.
use it as a tool. I don't exercise it 100% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, you still can probably be a good improver and stuff, right? When you jam with other people. If I was just like, if we went in there now and I was just playing like a couple of bar chords and stuff, you kind of, without knowing the feel of everything, you can hear exactly like, oh, this is dope, like going with it and stuff.
Right.
But not actually knowing what you're doing, or is it more feeling what you're doing? Because you're like, I know if I slide to this, if it doesn't sound good, then maybe I can just bend it and it gets to where I need to, and then start the lick. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, again, it's a feel thing, and improv, again, thanks to Paul, is probably my strongest suit as a musician. It's like the one thing that I can do pretty much in any scenario pretty well.
Dope.
Which is cool. I just don't think about it. I'm not worried about like, is this a Lydian scale? And, what is this progression? It's just, I figure out the root and I know what that is. And I can hear the chords, and I've played chords like those before or something like that, right? And I can find my way around it and be able to improv that way.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just building off of the playing so much too, right?
Yeah. Eventually you play so many things and you start to just remember the way those things sounded, and you remember what works over them.
Yeah.
And then you just play that stuff.
Because that's one thing that everyone always hits you with, that question, where just like, how do you get so good and stuff? And it's just like, I can tell you so many tricks, so many different things, but when nitty gritty comes down to it, you just have to play it.
Yeah.
You literally just have to play it.
It's time, man. Everything comes down to time. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be good at something, spend the time to figure it out.
40 hours a day, right?
40 hours a day. That's the other funny thing is, I had time when I was a kid because I was homeschooled. So, yeah, it was the coolest thing ever.
Dope.
I loved it. Like, school was, I don't want to say easy. My mom really did
Yeah.
give me an incredible
and
education.
obviously she had the criteria, the actual books, and
Right.
everything that she had to teach you.
Yeah, exactly. But like, if you just put your mind to it, like I'd finish school, I'd wake up at like 7 in the morning, I'd finish school by 10, and by 11 o'clock I was at the skate park.
Dope.
And I wouldn't go home till 10 that night, So like I could finish school super early, and I had the rest of my day to do whatever I wanted to do. And so when I started playing guitar, it was the exact same thing. Instead of skateboarding, it was guitar. So I'd finish early and I'd just spend all day playing guitar.
Dope.
And our school curriculum was heavily based around reading and English and stuff. So, at that age, my mom would read the books to us, and it was like The Hobbit and like some, books like that, just super great reading.
Tolkien, dude, all day.
Tolkien all day. Still to this day, I don't know why she let me do this, but she let me play guitar while she was reading.
That's actually pretty dope.
Yeah, and I think that was interesting. I want to figure out the science behind that, but I was able to listen to her and absorb what she was reading while still being able to focus on what I was playing on guitar. So yeah, because of that, I just had all the time in the world as a kid to just play.
Dope.
And yeah, man, it comes down to time.
It really does. It
Yeah.
really does. Unfortunately, my story isn't as cool as yours, but I didn't start playing guitar till I was 16.
Okay.
When I started playing guitar, I got a guitar and I thought it was awesome, the coolest thing ever. I thought literally like Marilyn Manson and stuff like that was God. It's like, this is the coolest shit ever. I'm gonna start learning this stuff. And so I learned how to play some of that stuff, but I had that problem because I did go to public school and have to go, to school and stuff.
Right.
But I was the weird kid that took an electric guitar with no amp, no nothing, and just would take it on the bus out of practice. During periods out of practice, we're finished with the classwork out of practice. So I got a lot of practice in, and that's what really I feel exactly what you said. It's just putting the time in and playing a lot.
Right.
And it was weird because it wasn't until later on in life that I found out that music is actually more universal and can be transferred to everything. So one of my biggest things that I love to do now is find different instruments that have great solos and try to transition that into a guitar.
Yeah.
Piccolo solos. I'm actually really, I have a grandpa who has a brother. I hate saying all this, but he has a brother that's actually a really famous New Mexico musician.
Okay.
So he plays at casinos, he's done all
Right.
the four corner areas and shit like that,
Sick.
like rancheras and stuff like
Yeah,
that, old
man.
school music like that.
Love it.
But that was another learning process too, is like learning those kind of chords and the dynamics of the way that works and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the journey in that sense, like I was kind of forced to play what people wanted me to play.
Right.
And that was weird too, because I had a friend that was really into Marilyn Manson. I liked his guitar. I borrowed it. We learned Marilyn Manson songs.
Right.
And then I found out that Marilyn Manson has a guitar player named John 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, dude, like we should be doing this. And he's just like, no, but this is not, this is like, I think the first CD that came out from John 5 was Vertigo, right?
Right.
And I was super young when I got that. And I was like, dude, let's do this. And he's just like, but everyone's listening to this. Like, we should be playing Marilyn Manson songs and stuff like that. And I was like, that's cool or whatever. And it's a weird journey into music when you find it.
Yeah, man.
And now when I play music, I just like love so many aspects of it as long as they're a good musician.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be a dick, but I mean, go Kanye, I guess.
Go
But
Kanye.
I don't know. See, some people categorize him as the greatest musician of all time. So.
I think he categorizes himself as the greatest musician of all time.
I had a guest on here 3 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Tito, shout out to Tito, you're awesome. He was a musical genius to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I was just kind of amazed too because
Yeah.
he knew about the musical background too. Like, he plays guitar. He knows actually like the difficulty of how it is to actually make music and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was very surprised that he found these qualities inside of that musician as well.
Interesting. Honestly, I have a ton of respect for that. And I think it takes probably a more intellectual person possibly to like be able to dive into music that might seem kind of simple on the outside and find what makes it special on the inside,
Okay.
It's interesting. So for me, I've always been a metalhead. I've always just listened to anything heavy. Like, I've always wanted to rock. But like recently, I've been weirdly into pop music. And it's the strangest transition for me because I feel like I'm almost betraying myself in a way because of my elitist roots. But man, pop music, like I always thought growing up, like, oh, that's so stupid. Pop music's lame. It's just 4 chords. It's so simple. But I started researching the producing and like trying to produce a pop track by myself. And it's so hard. Like, it's insanely hard to produce a pop song. And that gave me such a high level of respect for it. So, and then it's the same thing with Kanye tracks, I would assume, because the production is probably what makes it insane. Because I haven't really listened to Kanye, so.
Because what I heard too is he's an amazing beat maker. Even before he started rapping and stuff, rappers were coming to him and they're like, hey, can I use your beat? And he's like, hey, I also rap too. And they're like, no, we just need your beat.
We just need the beat.
And so that kind of sucks for him too, to understand that like he probably was like this underground like person that did kind of have a good following, probably did make good beats, but then this egotistical thing just went to his head and now he's God.
Dude, he's famous now, so like he can do whatever.
He can run for president twice if he wants to.
Twice if he wants. But yeah, man, I mean that I do know that Kanye makes beats for sure, and they're sick.
Yeah.
Otherwise people wouldn't have used them. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm trying to, more and more find respect for every musician because they're a musician. And I know plenty of people who, or know of plenty of people who aren't like good musicians in a traditional aspect, like how we were talking about theory and stuff like that, or technical playing, but they make incredible songs.
Oh yeah.
So like maybe they don't have all the chops, but man, they could write a better song than me any day.
Yeah, the lyrics or even the catchiness of
Yeah.
it, something about it, just like
Yeah.
wow, how did you think of that before I did?
Yeah, dude, musicianship does not create the musician.
Yeah,
at all.
That's a good little quote right there. Was that stolen? That feels like it's stolen.
Dude, it might be. Cross-reference me.
Like I've read so many books, man. It just comes out. Oh man. Well, music in general is awesome. It's going to be awesome with you and your musical journey. I know that you're doing, if my fans want to know this, he's actually starting a music, well, it's more like a journey of music in the vlog, or is it actually vlogging? Because, I mean, we don't see you in the shower and stuff like that, right?
No shower scenes.
We want to see this. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess it's a vlog. I didn't call it a vlog in the first episode.
That's what I thought about my show. I was like, oh, this is a podcast. They're like, this isn't a podcast. You don't even post anywhere. This is a web series. I was like,
It's like, what is a web series?
damn. But yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so I guess it's a vlog. Essentially, the premise of it is it's documentation, and I did it for documentation purposes solely. But I wanted to try and make it entertaining and bring some value to anybody who watched it. So the idea is it's me right now, and I'm a local musician, and I'm just trying to figure this thing out. You know, I've had my ups and downs. I'm still in the same band, my first band, and I'm trying to take that to a level where I want it to be, and the level that I've always imagined myself being. So this vlog is essentially the journey from here to there.
Okay.
And if everything goes the way that I hope it will, then one day the vlogs will be super cool and crazy and all about tours and things like that. But right now it's just me.
Yeah, but still, that's still the growing process of it. You've
Right.
seen these videos too of people that I've just started guitar, and then they have videos of their progressions between months, and it's
Right.
actually really entertaining to see somebody's growing process and what they really are trying to do in life.
Yeah, totally, man. It's so entertaining and it's inspiring more than anything.
Dope. So what gave you the idea to just do it? You're just like, it needs to be documented. If I die, there needs to be this stuff out right now.
So a couple of things, but one primarily, there's a buddy of mine named Jay Daniel, and he talked to me one day, and we were kind of talking about like finances and financial freedom and stuff. And he gave me the idea because he started a YouTube channel recently, J. Daniel Castro, and it's all about him jumping into this sales program, trying to be a professional in the sales career, right? And he started with obviously like 0 subscribers, no views, and just because he was documenting his day to day in this journey, he's doing really well now, and he has the job essentially that he wants.
Dope.
And his channel's got like over 1,000 subscribers, and like, dude, he's crushing it, and it's the coolest thing ever. So he's like, man, you need to do something like that.
It's definitely motivation too,
Yeah.
right? You see it like, oh man, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Why can't we all do it?
Exactly. And starting like a YouTube thing is something that I always wanted to do, but I always get like bogged down with like the need for quality.
Yeah.
Because I'm just weird like that. So I was like, I can't post anything until it's like Peter McKinnon level.
Yeah, right. Why am I using my phone?
Right, exactly. So he just inspired me to just turn on the camera and make a video.
Dope.
And like minimal editing or whatever, and that's it. And that's what I want to do, and that's it's what I've started. So
Nice.
I'm stoked on it, man.
Have you ever thought of jumping on the avenue of the Twitch road?
I have. Yeah. I talked to a different friend, and he's like, dude, the implications for Twitch and music are like totally untapped right now.
I'm there, dude.
Dude, you're doing it.
Yeah. I have like 760 followers, 3
Okay.
subscribers, and they actually pay to subscribe to my channel
Yeah.
and watch me. It's a crazy feeling. Bits come up and it's like, holy fuck.
That's
I play a lot
awesome.
of covers and stuff.
Okay.
But it's still really fun. Like it keeps my chops up.
Right.
And it's practice throughout the day. I try to stream every day, but that in itself is a goal too.
That's tough.
Yeah, because obviously we're doing the podcast now.
Right.
I worked my whole 8 hours. We're doing the podcast.
Yep.
I want to go stream after this, but then I know
Yeah.
it's going to be like, God, now I got to go get food. Oh, man. Yeah, I haven't eaten anything all day. Does the dog need anything? Oh, man. And then it just piles up. And then
Right.
that's the worst part, too.
It's the struggle, man. Yeah, like we always say, there's not enough time in the day, And man, I had that mindset for so long, but weirdly enough, recently I started waking up at like 5 in the morning,
Okay.
and that is like exponentially grown the amount of time I have in a day.
Dope.
Weirdest thing ever. But yeah, man, waking up at 5 is pretty cool.
Less sleep or just...
No, so it's give and take. I usually get to bed around like 10 or 11, you know, and 11, that's when I'm being a bad boy, you know, and I want to stay up later and watch.
You're a rock star, dude. What is wrong with you, dude? I don't go to bed till like 3:30.
Dude, for a while it was like 5 a.m. to like 9:30.
I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, dude, it was but that's really changed my life, man. Like waking up at 5 in the morning, working out right away, just getting the blood pumping early in the morning. It's just been so cool.
Dope.
And very inspiring. Like gets the creative juices flowing. I'm like trying to preach that as much as possible.
I've seen that done with so many different people though. Like, okay, I'm gonna bash on your idea here. And it all depends on the individual.
Right.
If you feel that's how you are productive during the day and it helps you go throughout your day, by all means, go on ahead and do it. It's awesome. There's a lot of people that benefit from that too. You know who David Goggins is, right. Jocko Williams, Joe Rogan. These are all people that do those kind of stuff like you do.
Yeah.
And there are those other individuals that just like know that they have I literally probably only get like 5 hours of sleep. Dang. 5 hours of sleep from like I go to sleep at like 3. I have to wake up at 7.
Right.
Just because. Okay. Here's some shitty parts about me. I invested a little bit of money into the stock market.
Okay.
And I kind of starting to learn the ins and outs of like the pre-market game, how to fluctuate during time, candlestick methods, and like reading it and stuff. You have to wake up early to see that shit.
Yeah, dude.
You have to be there on time to see that shit. Like the great thing, it's on the computer now. You don't have to be in fucking Wall Street looking at that shit. But it's really great, really fun. But there is those initiatives the responsibilities. Right. I'm a person, bragging, that I have very, very good discipline. Okay. Very good discipline. That's I love it, but I want to blame it on my guitar. Yeah. Because I remember the hardships of how it took to get as good as I am now. Yeah. Totally. I'm like, oh man, if I want to get good at card tricks, guess what? I'm gonna have to do it for like hours on end for 10 years. Right. Recently I've been fucking with nunchucks and stuff. Sick. It takes practice, it takes the time, and it just shows that attention to detail. So I try to use every hour of every time of the day to like enhance a skill that I have. Right. But there is the work, the sleep, and that stuff. And that's what I kind of like about you is that you've actually jumped from that, and you're like, maybe I'm jumping too far. I don't know if I know exactly the details of what you did. Yeah. But you kind of quit your job, and you're just like, I'm going to go at this full force. Right. I mean, do you have like some source of income to keep you going, or is it just like, fuck it, I have at least enough to stabilize me for 6 months. If it doesn't work, then guess what? Hey, Music Around, can I get some business or stuff like that? I don't know how it works. Let us know how your journey is. How do you have your journey planned out? Yeah, so it's pretty off the cusp for sure. But I quit my job. You're so young and you already have a midlife crisis. Dude, I've had like 8. I love it. I think as musicians, we do all the time. Yeah. Music, man, it's crazy. It takes a toll on the mind as much as it helps it. But yeah, I quit my job. I was working at Music Around for 4.5 years. Shout out to local business. That's right. Support. So, I mean, best job in the world. Let's be honest. Working at a music shop, coolest thing you can do, especially if you're a musician. The only downside is that you don't get paid because you spend all that money on guitars. Oh. And I don't really know if that's a downside, but that's what I did. It's a trade. That's right. So, yeah, I quit that job and just love those guys to death. Music Around family is my family. So, but I did that because I wanted to pursue financial freedom as a musician. And I'm not delusional. I know that's not going to be by playing music. So in the meantime, I'm working at Spirit Halloween, and I did all the construction for the Albuquerque stores, Santa Fe, Farmington, and then I went down to El Paso and did all those. So that's holding me over. I worked there today. I'm working there tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably my last day because that's the last store. Okay. And back to that kind of sales thing that I was talking about with my friend Jay Daniel, that's what I'm pursuing now. So that's like a work at home kind of situation. There's some good money in it if you hustle. Dope. But, what I'm trying to do is buy my time back. Because as much as I love Music Around or Spirit, I don't want to work 40 hours a week. Nobody wants to. It's so bad. Yeah. I could be practicing 40 hours a week. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the whole premise behind it. It's like you want your time back. There's so many things that we do in life as human beings who have to fit into this society that aren't in line with our goals, and that gets pretty tough. So I want to make enough money to exist, and I want to have all the time I need to be able to pursue music. And I think it's high time I figured that out. I think I got my first job when I was 15, so I've been working for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And I've got a taste of it. I was like, cool, this is great. I earned my money, and now it's time for a change.
Now it's time to do something.
That's right.
I like that. That's a good ambition and good goals set. Because I have the kind of same ideas and goals as you do. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to be a great musician. I want to be able to play and rock hundreds of stages,
Right.
do amazing stuff. And not only that, if that doesn't work for me, I want to try to just become famous.
Right.
Because I've actually done stand-up comedy before.
Awesome.
I've actually fucking, like the Twitch thing as well.
Yeah.
I don't only just play guitar on there, but I play video games as well too. And there's some sad moments where I'm just like, why are people watching me play video games more than playing guitar?
Yeah.
But that happens, and I'm just like, oh great, it's because Herman Lee and Matt Heffy are on Twitch right now.
Matt is crushing it on
Yeah,
Twitch right now.
he is doing great things. But that's the motivation right there too.
Right.
Is like you can do something that you love and still find an audience for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially with there being so much people out there in the world that have access to just, hey, let me just Google guitars, and
Right.
so many possibilities can pop up.
Yeah.
But following those dreams and ambitions, is it something that you feel? I don't know. Do you have high hopes, like in a sense where like you're not gonna fail, or do you know that like if I don't get what I need to be done, I should just turn emo? I don't.
I love that. I know I'm gonna succeed.
Dope.
And
See, that's
how I see it.
that's so much motivation too, because like literally, if you have the will to want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, totally, man. So it's about seeing yourself as the person you want to be.
Yeah.
I see myself, I close my eyes and I see myself playing stages and going on tour and doing this stuff, doing the things that would make me feel successful. And the more I think about that and the more I think about myself being that future self, like the more clear that path for me gets. And it's kind of all just about, thinking it and doing it. And I know that sounds woo-woo and weird, but there's something to it, man. Like the more confidence you have in yourself, the more likely you are to actually be able to accomplish the things you set out to accomplish.
Very true. That
Yeah.
is very, very true.
Yeah, man.
There was this quote that I once heard that was just like, confidence isn't if they like you, it's okay if they don't.
Yeah.
So like even if you go out there, rock the stage, and there's a few people out there just like, oh, that guy wasn't that great. It's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure there was one person out there that went lovely and crazy for it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of finding that niche, is like, because that one person tells other friends, ends up becoming a circle, crowd, group, protest. It just becomes so much that just blows people away.
It blows up, man. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great quote. I love that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like, going on tour as a fresh band and going to some town where nobody knows who you are and you play for one person.
Yeah.
It's like that right there is like a defining moment. Like, how are you going to perform in front of that person?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to see the room as empty? Are you going to see the room as there's a person in here that I need to put on a show for?
Dope.
So are you going to throw the show and be like, this is lame, let's get this over with, let's go to the next city where people might come out and watch us? Or are you going to be like, this person came out and nobody else did, and this person's getting a show?
Yeah, this person gets it. That's the same kind of feeling or mutual kind of thing with stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like I kind of freaked out about it too, because I have this background in music, and it's like all music. And then recently, it's been a year now, but quarantine happened, so it only counts as 6 months.
Right.
I started comedy 6 months ago, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool. But the same feelings come from being on stage as it does as a musician.
Right.
So I had that right away. My jokes really did suck in the beginning. They really did suck. But they were so impressed with my stage presence. They were like, wow, you actually aren't scared up there. I see first-timers up there with a notebook, reading down. They're just so timid and don't know what's going on. So that's cool to think about too, because even as a musician, you develop that in the early ages too. Like when you start playing stages and stuff, you're like nervous and just like don't know what to do and stuff. But that transition really did help a lot.
Yeah.
The difference between comedy and music, though, is that you can actually do comedy and practice your comedy almost every day.
Yeah.
In front of a crowd, because there's open mics that happen all the time, and there's different shows that happen. And in our sense, in the band sense, you're just like, oh, there's maybe 2 shows a month.
Right.
And that's like, you can practice all the time you want in your room with the band, get it all down. But when you're actually on stage, that's a whole different practice as well.
Totally.
And that blew me away, how similar they are.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. I go once, if it ever does come back, I'll invite you to a open mic comedy, dude. Because I have some pretty good music jokes as well, too, that just hit so good that just really it's amazing.
Dude, yeah, I'd love to go. That'd be so much fun.
And it's a crazy scene too, because I didn't think of it as the same scene here. Like the music scene here, when you start actually getting involved in it and stuff, it's a really big scene.
Yeah.
Like people trying to play shows, intermingle with each other. They're like, hey, you did a good set. I have a show next weekend. Can you jump on it and stuff like that?
Yeah, man.
And the same thing with the comedy too. I was like, how the fuck is this the same thing? But it's an entertainment thing.
Yeah, it's totally. Dude, I love that. That's such a cool comparison to draw.
And I never thought it would be a comparison, but the fact that it is, I'm just like, now I need to take my guitar on stage in comedy.
Dude,
I would blow people away.
There you go.
With the weirdest things ever. Like, I have some ideas. Maybe they're not going to work. I don't know, but I have to try them on stage first.
Yeah,
and
man.
that's the beauty of it, because there's so many times that you go on stage for comedy and you bomb.
Yeah.
You bomb. It's okay. The next night you go with the same joke, reword it a little bit, and it fucking crushes.
That's so sick.
And I can see it in the same sense of like being a musician. Like if you start touring, playing shows every night, maybe you had an off night one night.
Yeah.
That sucked. Guess what? You have another show the next night. So you better be on that shit, because you can't dwell on the past.
Exactly.
And how many, have you actually done some small tours and stuff like that? Have you hit some different, instead of just here in New Mexico?
Yeah. So we did a little tour called Not a Tour Tour, because it really wasn't like that much of a tour. It's funny. At this point in time on these music groups on Facebook, there was all this hate for bands. Like people were like, if your band goes on a tour and it's like 3 shows spread over like 5 days or a week, it's like, that's not a tour, you know. So all these guys were getting hate, so we decided to book a tour just like that called the Not a Tour Tour.
Not a tour
so
tour.
Yeah, we hit I think we played like Denver, or not Denver, I think we played we definitely played Denver, but we played Colorado Springs as well. And yeah, we played in Colorado like 3 times. And then we also went to Arizona, Scottsdale, and played a place called the Rogue Bar. Dope. Which was really cool. So yeah, we've played Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado.
Nice.
Yeah. So much fun, man. Colorado's my favorite place.
It's got a good energy.
Yeah, I think our turnout in Colorado is bigger than it's ever been here, for the most part.
And it's just, you got to just equate the numbers, right? It has to be the population.
It's totally population. And that's the funny thing, and that's why Colorado's such a popular place to go on tour, is because there's so many people and there's so many music lovers in general down there. People just go to shows. You know, sometimes you'll find yourself in a city where, you know, like, and sometimes Albuquerque's like this, you know. Albuquerque closes down pretty early. A lot of stuff's closed by 9, you know.
Especially even worse now,
Yeah, especially now. But yeah, shows don't start till like 9. So sometimes it's tough to get people out. But Denver, like,
people are walking around at like 12 o'clock, dude, looking for something to do.
Yeah, man, it's one of the cities that never sleeps, man. And so like I experienced for the first time in my life playing a show and watching people like come in off the street,
right?
Which is the coolest thing ever. So
dope.
Yeah, and that's why Denver's crazy popular for people to come and tour.
It really is, for anything, even the comedy scene. I keep bringing back the fucking comedy thing,
dude. I love it.
I know, but fucking, there's actually a cool thing where here in Albuquerque, the comedy scene is like on Monday, there was 1 open mic. Okay. Tuesday there was 2 open mics. Wednesday 1 open mic. Thursday 1 open mic. Friday 1 open mic. In Denver or bigger populated cities, Monday there's 5 open mics.
Dang.
And everywhere there's more than one, so you actually start a circuit where you're actually going like, okay, open mic starts at 7 at this location, and I can actually send in my sign in to the next one that starts at 10.
Oh, cool.
Do a set here, run to the next spot, do a set there, find another spot. You literally, as a comedian, should be doing 3 to 4 sets a night.
Whoa.
To get good at it.
That's crazy.
I know, and here I discovered that here in New Mexico where we can't do that because there's not enough.
There's not enough.
Yeah, it's not really that much of a niche here either.
Right.
They actually did have a comedy club that they opened up called The Box, which lasted maybe like 4 to 6 months, and it just went under and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know too much about it. I got into the comedy scene a little too late, but they kind of
Right.
told me some stories about it and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was supposed to be our mecca, you know?
Right.
Oh, Joe Rogan's going to come here. Oh, these amazing acts, but it just went under. It was horrible.
That sucks, dude. I'm so tired of that.
And do you think it's
worst.
just is it just the way that it's the niche here? Like we're just kind of boring and we just aren't looking for that kind of stuff, or is it just like maybe it'll hit eventually because we're not actually doing hard enough. We're not actually pushing it hard enough.
Yeah. I have a weird theory that that Albuquerque is like 10 years behind the next city at all times.
Oh my god!
And it's the weirdest thing ever.
Don't even talk about Santa Fe then.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And dude, born and raised here, I love this place. Like this is home, dude. But it's so weird, and it's something that you experience when you go to a larger city, and you see these things that blow your mind. You know, like even just like, I don't know, there's the most random little technology thing in a gas station. It doesn't really matter, but and you're like, wow, Albuquerque's like old school, man. And so the old school mentality or vibe that this place has, because it's so historical, is that, again, it shuts down kind of early. Like, people are not necessarily to themselves because there's so many loving and outgoing people here. But, like, when it's time to go home, it's time to go home.
Okay.
And I think that's the issue because what we do, comedy, that's a nighttime thing.
Yeah.
Music, that's a nighttime thing.
Yeah.
And nighttime stuff is really hard to get off the ground, honestly.
Right.
Or to get, traction. I don't know.
In this location.
Yeah, in this location. But like in a big city where there's, so many more people, like Denver, we were just talking about it, it's so easy because there's so many people, somebody's always out looking for something to do. And comedy and music are like probably the two most relatable things on planet Earth because everybody loves music and everybody loves to laugh. And for whatever reason, it's just too late here.
Yeah.
My theory is always like, dude, shows should start at 5 p.m. and anything nighttime related should like get moved earlier because
we got to make the nightlife. We need to make the nightlife. Look at how beautiful Central is when it's 8 o'clock.
Right.
Imagine it at 12.
Yeah.
Full with people walking.
Yeah, dude.
With their turquoise.
Yeah. That's my vision, man. That's what I want to see. And that's like what I want to see when I go downtown. And I want to be able to like just walk into places, because I've heard so many stories about how Albuquerque was like back in the 80s. And dude, it was like rock and roll central. There were tons of clubs. There were bands playing every night. Like you can go to a club, check out a band, walk down the street, go to another club, check out a band.
Dope.
It's just alive.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it's just not that way anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I really can't pinpoint why. It's just the weirdest thing. But if we can make that change, if something happens and it pops back up, this would be the coolest place to live.
And some people say it's starting to happen too with the whole bringing of the studios, Netflix.
Right.
Amazon's coming here. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Dude,
I did hear that.
You know how beautiful one same-day delivery is going to be now?
Dude, drone delivery.
Dude, is that really? Oh my God, I'm scared. I'm so scared. Dude, yeah, that's Facebook's here now.
Facebook's here.
And not only that, we've had the technological jump in New Mexico without people really knowing.
Right.
Like, again, the national labs are here.
Yep.
There's so many great historic events that happen here that has shaped the way that the world is now.
Yeah, totally.
Bob Lazar? Did you see that? Dude, that happened here! That's so scary!
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, man, something big is going to happen in Albuquerque. That's my feeling. I feel like
Alien-wise?
I hope so. I mean, now that it's confirmed.
Okay, see, now we're getting into the nitty gritty of MuseMe TV. This is where we are a conspiracy theorist channel here.
Perfect.
Is it something that you feel? Are we okay? Let's get into this.
All right.
Aliens.
Cool.
Are they here, and are they among us?
That is a great question. I believe they exist, and I believe they're real, but I don't know. Like, okay, so define among us. Are we talking like walking along with us?
Yeah,
like,
so you've heard the stories that some of our major politician leaders are actually these shapeshifters known as reptilians.
Yes.
These are alien beings.
Right.
maybe they're here, maybe they're not. And they've shaped the way that the society and the way the government, religion, almost everything the way that life is now has been shaped by these aliens.
Interesting.
Is it a thing that is possible, or is that kind of a far-fetched kind of idea?
Dude, I'm always open to far-fetched, and I can't say that it's not possible.
Okay.
But I haven't, like, it's not really a scenario that's been brought up to me before, so I haven't put a whole lot of thought into that.
Okay.
But that would be crazy, and now I know what I'm going to look up tonight.
Have you ever? Okay, let's dig a little deeper. Have you ever heard that there was actually the Russians released a book in the late 70s, I think it was, where it was actually a book of alien races from A to Z.
Interesting.
There's like 50 A's.
Whoa.
I know, it's crazy. And when they actually start describing some of these, some of them sound far-fetched, some of them sound weird. But then you actually start to think of like actual matter and science and stuff.
Right.
If you're on another planet where the air density is totally different, where the compounds of how water is created is probably way different, how is that description that book just said not plausible? Maybe it could happen. Because they do describe other aliens as well. Have you ever heard of an alien race known as the Pleiadians?
Pleiadians. That sounds familiar.
Pleiadians are aliens that look kind of like us,
but
they're blonde-haired, blue-eyed creatures.
Interesting.
Yeah. They say that they've even shaped political warfare and stuff too. Does that sound a little kind of World War II kind of ish?
Very.
So I mean, there was a guy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's blowing my mind. Dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, the Pleiadians are out there.
Pleiadians.
There was this great in the alien race books. They mentioned this aliens. I cannot remember the actual alien name. It's like I don't remember exactly what the name is.
That was a great sound effect.
But they said that they were kind of considered the Blues, right?
Okay.
If you ever listen to the Blue Man Group and stuff, and you ever do some research and stuff, they said they were contacted by aliens.
Really?
Yeah, and not only they were contacted by aliens, they were contacted by a specific group of aliens known as the Blues. Okay. And that's why they take this persona and this idea, because they know, like, oh, these are peaceful, amazing aliens. They know how to live life.
Yeah.
We're the Blue Man Group, like the Blues.
That's crazy.
And then in the book, this alien race book, it starts talking about how they've actually been to Earth before. The Blues have.
Okay.
They've actually talked to Richard Nixon.
What?
But he didn't want to talk to them because he thought that they would have telekinetic powers to read what the nuclear launch codes are.
Oh my God.
So he's like, I don't want to talk with these guys.
Yeah.
Well, you tell them the information that I want them, blah, blah, blah. So that's how they communicated and stuff.
Okay.
They said, this is, I love it. See, I'm probably sounding like a fucking conspiracy now. They said that they were going to come back in 2020.
Really? What?
I know. And I saw this book, I saw this video and I did this research probably in 2014.
Okay.
So I was like, oh man, this is the year.
Yeah.
But I still haven't seen a blue.
Well, there's still some time left in 2020.
Another thing too that's crazy that blows me away is that the Mayan calendar had a specific date, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was suspecting it to end. Like, oh, world is going to end or stuff like
2012.
that. What if it was just something significant that we couldn't have seen with the naked eye? Where maybe like a certain asteroid passed, a solar flare happened, some kind of thing that we didn't see happened. And they were like, well, there you go. That's as far as we want to go. But it actually did have some kind of significance in a way that, damn, we should have paid attention more.
That would have been interesting. Dude, the thing about it, like going back to like the aliens and stuff, it's like there's actually a ton of history around it.
Yeah.
And we can call it conspiracy theories or whatever, but there have been books written and documents and just all of this stuff that point to like, this is probably real. Like this is a thing, you know? And then obviously the government saying that it is real.
Yeah. Recently,
like within the last few months, like, yeah, it's really at that point, anything is possible. Like they could be like, dude, I could be an alien. You could be an alien.
Don't say that.
Like,
don't say that, please.
I'm just saying, man. Like at that point, like who knows? Dude, I love those. This is great.
But okay, with that being said, though,
fuck.
I don't know. What's not to? There's more theory, speculation. I love the human brain. I love learning. Even if it's far-fetched and this weird idea, I love to learn about it because you never know.
Right.
What's to not to say that we were the genetic experiment of aliens as well? There is this old story that they say that Earth is actually a combination of many creatures from different planets. So there's actually just a planet of giraffes. There's just a planet of sharks. There's just a planet of all these animals. And they're like, hey, let's bring them all together and see how that works out. And we were the science experiment of aliens that observe us all the time.
Wow. That would be really cool.
And with I don't know how much you research like Elon Musk and stuff like this, but he's actually speculated that the simulation theory might be real.
Dude, yeah.
Something that can be something that's not that far fetched.
Yeah, I was listening to him say that.
I'm scared.
And dude, that would be crazy. I know, and it's funny, like we've all had that thought. Like as soon as we get old enough to understand like advanced things like that.
Yeah.
Like, well, what if this isn't real? Like what if I can like pinch myself and then I'll wake up in a different place?
Yeah.
You know? But I mean,
especially seeing like the Matrix and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. I know. But I mean, if simulation isn't what's happening right now, eventually it will be. Whether that's thanks to Elon or whoever, but like let's talk about VR and how real that's getting.
Yeah.
Like and it's in its primitive stage right now. Like you can log on and play Beat Saber and it's the most fun thing in the world, but like when we get VR to a point where like it's Sword Art Online style VR, you're just putting on a headset and boom, you're in this world of like you have your senses and you have like you can just live
smell,
a completely,
touch, feel, everything.
Totally alternate life, you know? It's like that movie Surrogate when like virtual reality becomes better than real life. At that point, dude, yeah, we're in a simulation. We could like ignore our actual bodies in preference of a body that could be made like perfect or the way we want it or the life that we want.
That's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, that technology is going to advance exponentially in the coming years.
Because Elon Musk actually released the Neuralinks. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
That microchip that goes in your brain and stuff.
Yeah.
He did the demo test this weekend, or last weekend, was on actual pigs.
Oh, wow.
So he had 3 pigs. One of them had no chip in them. The other one had a chip in them for 6 months and then was removed just to show that as a human, you can live a normal life and not be affected by the implant and the explant of it.
Yeah, okay.
And he had a third one that had it in it. And what it was connected to receptors in its nose. Every time it smelled, it gave off a beep that was red on the like a screen that they had.
Yeah.
And that's just to show the certain aspects of the brain that were working at that time, which was pretty mind-blowing at that time. But he can actually make it to the sense where he sends these little electric pulses to the certain parts of the brain that activate it in a way that right now it's supposed to be used for like people with cerebral palsy, like paralysis and stuff like that. But when we play guitar, when we play music, and we literally do a scale, play notes, do the Eddie Van Halen lick, there's an electrical charge that is going in on our brain at that moment. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen CAT scans where people actually have their brain and they're playing music, and you see the different, even when they're playing different melodies and different tones, it's the way that it triggers is so crazy.
Yeah.
He's actually going to be able to trigger that in all these different senses. All the time that we took to learn guitar is going to be accomplished in mere seconds.
Yeah, dude, it's like when he was talking about like you could be on a flight to Japan and you're like, oh, I don't know Japanese. You're like, cool, no worries, boop, boop, boop.
It's all
download Japanese and be fluent by the time you arrive. It's like, what's stopping a kid with his Neuralink from going on whatever search engine that is, like just typing in music theory and just downloading music theory? It's like, oh, cool, I know theory now. That's sick. Technique, downloading technique. Like, oh, I want to learn sweep picking. Download that, and it's like it's insane. And you just learn these things, and I mean that's the other half of it. It's like, when will it start to like correlate with what your muscles are able to do? Because obviously, say for example, like somebody's missing a finger or something like that, and they try and download like an arpeggio scale. It's like, is that going to translate, or are we going to adapt? Like, what's going to happen?
I would assume it would have to adapt.
Right.
Like, it recognizes that there's not a finger there, so it finds patterns. I mean, we see it in playing all the time. You know the story of the Django Reinhardt, right?
Of course.
Dude, that blows me away. Two fingers, and he does scales and arpeggios that I can't do. I'm just like, I'm trying to use all 4.
Dude, I
So
know.
that shows that like even if the Neuralinks thing does happen, it's just like downloading E minor arpeggio,
Yeah.
2 fingers, 3 fingers.
Yeah. So like, do your fingers move faster to like account for the lack of fingers in the amount of notes? Like that's the crazy stuff.
I think it will be where it all just sinks in together because
Right.
us as musicians, we're trying so hard to make the two connect. Like literally, I hear it all the time too. It's like my left hand's way faster than my right hand. I'm just like, it's because you have to slow it down and make sure that they're both doing the sequence at the same time, so it
Right.
feels more comfortable. With that being said, though,
That's insane, dude. That would be so crazy.
okay, here's another thing.
All right.
Within 5 years, it's going to be in humans.
Yeah.
That's in your and my lifetime.
Yeah.
We could pay over $1,000. No, let's round it up. $2,500 to get it installed in our brain.
Yeah.
Would you do it
Yes. Immediately.
for those benefits?
Not initially.
You're like, no, I'm already good. Why would I need it for that? I need it to learn nunchucks.
No, I wouldn't do it for that initially, because I feel like I'm going to be an old curmudgeon, and this is going to lead into another topic that I want to bring up in just a second. But like, every old generation, it's like, yeah, vinyl was the best. Like these CDs, that's stupid. And then that generation is like, CDs are dumb. Like MP3 is the best. And it just keeps going,
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be the guy who's like, dude, playing guitar with your normal brain is that's the most analog thing you can do.
Or
That's the
you,
coolest.
and that's a kind of sign of like clout, to kind of
Yeah.
show that you're kind of like, I did it the hard way, you did it the easy way, and you see that all the time in like scenarios of did before I did, and I've been here for 5 years. That would be the same instance with guitar.
Right.
Like, we saw a 7-year-old being able to do stuff that we took 7 years to do.
Yep.
So that's depressing.
I know. So the other thing too is what happens to music when everybody's good.
It becomes even more amazing. Okay, you know why? Is because people have more avenues of ideas to start bouncing off of.
Yeah.
I love this idea or this theory is that if we can automate human life for the basic necessities like house construction, fast food, the stuff that we need people to do, don't need them, the people can actually enhance a skill that they can use to better the life.
Right.
So maybe we do have robots that build houses. So that person that used to build houses can now go and learn how to build houses a better way.
Yeah.
Shows the robot, does it whatever, and now it ends up being a better model so that they don't have to do it as much.
Right.
People get a little scared though, where they're just like, the robot takes my money? That doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
If anything, more wealth hopefully should be distributed to the public in that sense, where it's like, I'm kind of throwing out some politics here, but the UBI thing, remember the universal basic income? Why doesn't everybody get some fucking money with the trillions and billions of dollars that major corporations get? Like, I'm not bashing on Jeff Bezos, but dude makes million, billion, trillions.
Yeah.
I can't even say the numbers he makes.
I looked it up the other day, and I think it's is it over 100 billion? It's like over $100 billion, which is insane. So, and I did the math, and I rounded the numbers, but if you made $1 million, actually, I'm going to pull up my phone and do this real quick.
Here it goes.
I think it's,
No, it isn't an extreme number that even if he took like a small percentage out of it,
Yeah.
it would still feed the world.
I'm pretty sure if you make $1 million a week, it would take you 83 years to have $100 billion.
Damn.
If you made $1 million a week. And it was either $1 million a week or $1 million a month. One of those two, but either way, that's like an absurd amount of money.
And his
It's
net worth
insane.
keeps growing.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it too, is like we have this analogy of just a million going on.
Right.
He sometimes makes $1 billion in 2 days.
Yeah, man, it's because we keep buying. It's because we want those drone deliveries.
But see, that's the thing though, is that we've automated life so amazing that okay, we only need a driver or two, people in the warehouse and the drones, and everybody else should be good.
Right.
That's why we pay for this stuff. It comes to our door, everything like that.
Yeah.
Then that money that Bezos gets should be taxed at a certain degree that everybody else gets it so that they can keep contributing to him in a way that he gets. I still feel like he's gonna get the money either way.
Yeah.
Like even if it is like, oh, I have to give money as more taxes, that's fine, dude, because we end up buying more Amazon shit anyways.
Yeah, we'll always buy. You know, that's the whole thing. And another crazy thing that I learned recently is, excuse me, with $1 billion in the bank, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to spend $1 billion. Like because of the dividends that you earn on that money being in the bank, you almost make more money from that money being in the bank than you can spend in a day.
Did you see The Dirt?
No, I haven't watched it, dude.
Really?
I actually haven't watched it.
Well, okay, so you know the rock star life.
Well,
come on, dude.
Reasonably.
Come on, dude. Imagine getting a guitar. What? $200,000? Imagine that, dude.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a guitar that valuable?
Not that valuable.
What's the most valuable?
I have played, I think it was like 18 grand.
Damn.
And it was a Paul Reed Smith.
Dude, that is dope. I think the most I've ever played is maybe like a $5,000 guitar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dude.
I think it was an Ibanez.
Oh, that's sick.
I'm really into Steve Vai's model.
Yes.
But the actual model with the gold.
The real one.
Yeah, the gold fucking Floyd Rose. And it's so beautiful.
Have you seen the new one he came out with his sick pickups?
Yeah, the thing was dope. I like that he brought back to the pyramid, the pyramid design. Yep. I always thought that was so cool in the 80s. Well, I wasn't in the 80s, but I thought that was so cool when I found out. It's like, oh, he's had these cool guitars where it's like the pyramid that gets lower and lower with the frets.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
It's a good design.
Yeah, dude, that's sick. Yeah, man, $5,000 for a guitar. I mean, that buys you one hell of a guitar.
Yeah.
Like $10,000 for a guitar. At that point, you're buying a piece of art, in my opinion.
You think so?
I think so. And I mean, I'll rep Paul Reed Smith guitars all day long because that's what I play, and I love them. But my only gripe with that company is they don't make a American-made 7-string unless you want to pay $10,000. They don't do it. So you see dudes like Mark Holcomb from Periphery, and he has an 8-string and a 7-string, private stock, at least $10K. That's like the buy-in amount. And the $18,000 guitar that I played was a private stock as well.
Damn.
But is it really a better instrument than like just a good old, $5,000 American-made instrument? Like I don't want to shout out Gibson, but
bash it.
That's like the price range, right? Like you pay $5,000 nowadays for Gibson.
Yeah.
Like my most expensive guitar was a $4,000 guitar from Paul Reed Smith, and that's like my favorite thing ever. But like I probably would get more enjoyment playing that $4,000 guitar than the $10,000 one. And recently, I've gotten more enjoyment playing my like $800 7-string.
What was it? Are you talking about Steinberg?
No, the Strandberg. Yeah, that one's a
Strandberg.
different beast. That's an 8-string. That thing's a monster. They're so expensive too, man. I don't understand. Like you look at it and you're like, this is like a chunk of wood and like some metal strings and like.
The beauty of guitar is the same, if not close to, an American car.
Right.
Because not only do they not depreciate in value, if you can keep really good care of it and keep customizing it to make it better, dude, it's worth more.
Yeah.
And that blows me away that I've seen like 1960s Fenders that were made in America. I'm just like, holy fuck, this is amazing. Why is this $50,000?
Yeah, dude, that's like the going rate for like 50s and 60s stuff, like in good condition or original condition.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And
insane.
Did you see a lot of that stuff when you worked at the music shop? Like you saw probably some very antiques, right?
Yeah, a lot of antiques. Dude, I've played everything under the sun. Everything.
That's dope too.
The coolest thing, again, about working at a music shop.
They're like, hey, we need to sell this. And you're like, cool, but we have to play it first just to make sure that it works.
That's part of the gig, man. It's like,
but nobody's ever played this guitar. Guess what, dude? You know what?
I can't buy it unless I test it. I'm sorry.
So dope.
That's the deal. But yeah, man, like old school Fenders. We had like it was a Gibson acoustic guitar. It was a tiny little parlor thing. And it was all original except for the bridge. The bridge had been replaced. And it was 100 years old.
Damn.
And it was a Gibson, and it had the Gibson logo on it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Same exact logo?
Yeah.
Or did they change it a little bit?
Well, okay, so basically the same. Minor modifications, but like the vintage Gibson logo has like kind of the same vibe. It's so cool. And that guitar, dude, sounded amazing. Being that old, it would have been like I forget what year that one specifically was. Like, Yeah, so vintage Gibson. Yeah, so that's the vintage Gibson logo.
This
right
one?
there. Yeah, and they just kind of made it a little more streamlined, but it was still that kind of cursive style. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, that was really cool. I forget the model of it, but
But it was acoustic.
it was acoustic. Yeah, and it sounded brilliant. It was
100
amazing.
years old.
Yeah, it was like coming up, like 97 years old or something like that. It was
Damn.
insane. Yeah, coolest guitar. It was just a piece of history. You know?
Well
It's like-
taken care of and stuff.
yeah, I mean, dude, it's still playing. We had it hanging in the room. It was like really cheap. It was like $600.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it just because the way it was made and stuff?
No, it's just because like sometimes there's a lack of information of things that old on the internet. It's like, you know, if this thing had a well documented history,
It's
like,
worth
it would
more.
be worth so much more money. But it didn't, and because of that, it really doesn't have a value. So we have to price it to sell.
Okay.
That's part of the gear sales industry.
Did it end up selling?
It did.
Dope.
Yeah, it did, and it had the original case with it too.
Whoa.
Which was just like like a plastic or a paper bag. It
Was
wasn't
it like cowhide or something?
yeah, it is, yeah, the
Just
chintziest
old
case.
school.
Yeah, totally. But it's cool, man. You get to see stuff like that, and you get to try so many things. So, as a musician, you know, you're a young musician. You're trying to figure out what you like. A lot of the time,
That's so true,
gear
yeah.
wise. And if you're in a place where you get to just play everything, you figure that out pretty quick.
Because I still feel like I'm learning a lot about amps, like amp styles and stuff. Like,
Right.
people give me so much shit, dude. They keep fucking bashing on me, but I really like Line 6.
Yeah, dude.
I played Line 6 for well, that's what I pretty much started on.
Yeah.
When I first started guitar, I think it was like a Marshall 15-watt amp.
Sick.
No. And then for income tax, my parents were like, hey, we're going to surprise you with something amazing. You can pick anything you want for $500. Wow. So I bought the Line 6 Spider 3. Is that the one with the actual the on-screen thing where it tells you the number and what you're actually playing at that time? It was
I think
3?
that's the Spider 375, like the larger one.
It was the 150.
It was the 150.
The
okay.
150.
Yeah, the 150.
The
that's correct.
150 combo.
That's right.
And
so
it
it had
was-
the 2 speakers and
The head right on it.
Yep,
On
inside
the
the
inside.
combo.
It was that literally till this day is my favorite amp
So sick.
because of the speakers in it and just the way that the distortion sounds. I feel like
Yeah.
it sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've been playing so long. I'm just like, I like how it sounds. Even when people come and they're just like, oh, what on Twitch and stuff like that, I'll be
Yeah.
playing and they're just like, that's such a good sound. And I'm just like, everyone said, if I tell you what it is, you're going to bash it right away.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, Line 6 has a really bad reputation of just being a generic brand.
And they were smart for it, though. So, I mean, that's how Line 6 made their money, dude. The Spider is the most popular amp in the world. Like, Line 6 sold more Spiders than any amp company sold anything ever.
Yeah.
It's insane. But, dude, Line 6 does, like, really high-end stuff, too. And I owned a Line 6 Helix for a long time. And that was a sick unit. It was really cool. And that's, like, their floorboard, like, Axe FX modeler style thing.
Okay.
And so cool, dude. Run it into a cabinet, record direct with it. Like high quality, and it's totally separated from the Spider because the Spider's its own thing. The Spider has its own sounds. Even the Helix had the Spider models in it.
Okay.
It had the Insane channel.
But
And that's all you need.
it probably didn't really sound the same though, right?
It did.
Because I've always thought, because I have the Spider Valve HD 100 as well.
Yeah.
With the 4 tubes and stuff, and I feel that distortion still doesn't sound the same as the Line 6 Spider 3 combo.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe my undeveloped ear or something, but I like the way it sounds.
Yeah, dude. And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
That's not true. I can go into a Reddit right now and be like, listen to my song on the Line 6 Spider 3.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's how, and that's only because of what I told them the amp was played on or the song was made on.
Yeah. Dude, listen.
Listen here, guys.
Listen. There's a lot of gear snobs out there, and there's a lot of people who are going to tell people like what to play and what not to play. But most of the people telling you like that's a bad piece of gear make good pieces of gear sound pretty bad.
Okay.
That's how it goes.
That's okay.
They're just internet warriors, dude. And that's all it is. Like if you can make a Line 6 Spider sound insane because you play well, that's all you need.
Dope.
Yeah, if you're a good player, dude, Line 6 will sound great.
I always had that aspect too. Is like, I have a few friends that buy like really expensive guitars, but they're still kind of, I don't want to be a dick, but they're kind of mediocre. They could just practice way more and they know they can get way better. But they're like, I want this new guitar because I want to sound amazing.
Right.
That's not how you're going to sound amazing, though.
Yeah, man. Like, again, if you can make like low end equipment sound high end, then like that's a really cool thing.
But that's the main goal, right? Is like to develop your playing in a way that no matter what you transition to, it's your unique, great sounding playing.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, and my guitar teacher Paul, told me at a pretty young age, like he flipped on the radio, and I think it was like a CD or something. He like knew what song was going to be playing, and he played like a second of it, and he's like, "Who was that?" I was like, "I don't know," and he's like, "That was Eddie Van Halen." And
I
he
love
played
that
another
game.
song. Yeah, and he's like, "Okay." So I started listening, and he's like, "Do you know why I know it's Eddie Van Halen every single time if I just turned on the radio and I heard the first note?" And I was like, "No." He said, "It's because Eddie created his own sound. Nobody plays like Eddie. He's completely and entirely unique, and that's his thing. He has his own musical like fingerprint, essentially.
Yeah.
It's so unique." And he's like, "You need to find your musical fingerprint." And that like stuck with me forever. So if you have a musical fingerprint and it's unique to you, that will show no matter what amp you play, no matter what guitar you play, no matter what instrument you play.
Yeah.
Really, it's you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because there's been some times too, when I was with my band that we played Causes to Become, we went to the studio and did record, and they're like, "Hey, I got this amazing amp and stuff," and I'm just like, "Can I record it on my Line 6?" Like, it's the sound to it and everything just felt so much more comfortable, and I did like the way that the recording came out. I was very satisfied. So in that sense too, it was based off of the playing and how I felt the sound should be for that song, for the band, for whatever was going on at that time, because I know when I do play, I can, and I do all the time. I just fucking play Crazy Train on Insane or something weird like that. But you know that there's actually tone differences in all of those individual songs as well. And I didn't learn that until like a little late, and that was kind of sad. But, you end up finding out that niche too. Like, you kind of like, oh man, I've been playing for like 7 years now and I still suck. And then I start practicing more, and then I start doing more. Like your story of like listening to your mom read and still play. My biggest thing was playing and watching South Park.
Hell yeah.
Like I would throw on South Park and I would just play and just do the same basic rhythm, like and just watch South Park. And then I love this episode. This is so amazing. And with that, I didn't think about it at the time, but that was really great development because I was constantly playing. I saw like 4 hours of South Park. I never put down the guitar, and it was always constantly playing it. I didn't know what I was playing. I didn't care what I was playing. But I had it in my hand, and I was doing something that developed into a skill that now I'm just like so natural and stuff.
So sick, dude.
It's beautiful how it happens to a lot of people too.
Absolutely.
Or we have the Asians that are forced to learn how to play from the age of 7. Music theory, 40 hours a week. And that's crazy that that's developed away too. Like there's amazing musicians that are kind of disciplined into the instrument.
Right.
And that's scary.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. It creates like these hybrid monster players who are just like way too good for their own good. But I think the sad thing about like forcing somebody to play an instrument is it takes the joy out of it.
Okay.
I think it really does. Because again, like I said earlier, I don't like to be forced to do anything, and I'm pretty sure that's just a human thing. Like if someone told you had to do this and you didn't want to do that, like would you be stoked? Like I don't really want to do this at all, but I'm going to be so excited to go and do that thing. Like it's a paradox within ourselves. So when you're a kid and you're, maybe you want to paint or something, and your parents are like, I want you to play piano. Like 40 hours a week, go play piano or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Like the kid's going to hate it, and they might become so freaking good, and a lot of them do, but they don't enjoy it. So I think that's kind of sad almost,
Or they find the understanding or the enjoyment after.
Right.
Like, later on in their life where they're like, I'm glad that you forced me to play guitar this much.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was horrible growing up, but there's a great example.
Right.
Growing up, my mom really liked a bunch of, like, old school movies and stuff. And one of them that I hated so much growing up was Grease.
Okay.
She always watched that movie every weekend, all the time. But I grew up to a sense now that it's like the most cherished thing in my life. I had to buy the vinyl for it.
Dude, that's awesome.
I try to learn some of like the lyrics and stuff, like you're the one that I want. And just because I was so intrigued with it, like, maybe I don't like the music, but I do like the fact that I can make that music into something I do like.
Right.
Because, I mean, I love guitar. Guitar's amazing.
It's the best, man. I love it.
It was a great, it literally was the greatest thing ever invented in music wise, because I mean I dabble in piano sometimes.
Yeah.
I have the drum set, I can throw a beat on something, but
Yeah.
something about the guitar
Man.
just gets me so connected where I'm just like, yeah, I could play guitar way longer than I can ever want to touch any of these instruments.
Totally. Yeah, man. It's like this like connection that exists from when you started. It's like that first love thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you're always going to go back to that. Like that's what you want to do. And yeah, that's guitar for me too, man.
It's
like
dope.
I can try and write on keyboard all day long if I want to, or drums or whatever it is, but it's like there's a creative like spark with the guitar that I can't get anywhere else.
Dope.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man.
I love how in the conversation we were talking about Van Halen.
Yeah.
How they have like the individual sounds and stuff.
Yep.
Here's the question.
All right.
The 100 million trillion Jeff Bezos question. Sammy Hagar or David Lee Roth?
David Lee Roth.
Really?
Every day.
Oh,
All
wow.
day.
Explain. Because I'm actually a very big Sammy Hagar fan.
Yeah.
I thought the Van Hagar years were a little bit better, if you ask me. I don't know.
Dude, okay, so let's talk about it for real. So the songs written with Sammy Hagar are better songs.
Heart choppers.
That's right. They were, I mean, some of the best music Van Halen's put out.
Dreams.
Yeah.
Can you not remember the lyrics to that? I sing
Yeah.
it. Oh, man. It's amazing. Power Rangers all day.
Yeah. So the thing, though, that makes me prefer Roth Van Halen over Hagar Van Halen is that David Lee Roth's version of that band was like this bizarre garage rock band that was just totally chaotic and off the hook.
Yeah.
But wrote incredible songs. And it had this like raw power to it that was pretty much, it was just gone with the Hagar years, you know? Like, dude, I don't know. It's so like visceral and it's hard to explain, but you hear David Lee Roth's voice and you're like one of the best singers in the world.
Yeah, because I mean, I hate to say it too. I love Sammy Hagar more than David Lee Roth, but I know David Lee Roth songs more than Sammy Hagar songs.
And that's part of it, dude. It's like that's the breakout for them. Like that's where they got the name and they got famous and they blew up.
Yeah.
Was with those songs. But with Sammy Hagar, like traditionally they wrote better songs. They were more popular. They were more consistent. And yeah, I mean, they just really did progress in a different direction that was equally as good in two different situations. And we're shaking our heads right now because there's always a debate. But I mean by equally as good, I mean that doesn't solve the debate because everybody's going to be on one side or another.
Yeah, because you could always find those little niches.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe David Lee Roth was a greater like raw image, brought
Yeah.
more originality. So did Sammy Hagar, especially coming in from a more musical background. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I've already played in a few bands. I kind of know how this shit should run, and I play guitar. So that actually was what I heard from the interviews. Van Halen was like, that's a big difference from
Right.
David Lee Roth, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And not only that, though, such a more tremendous singer.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, Ain't Talking About Love is amazing.
Yep.
Jamie's Crying. Those are some iconic songs, dude.
Yeah.
But when you hear Sammy Hagar hit a note
Yeah.
in, like, falsetto, the highest out, like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It blows me away. And then I end up finding out that it's not only him, but also Michael Anthony.
Right.
I'm just like, dude, what the hell? Were you kind of bringing them down, David Lee Roth? Because these guys had amazing voices. All the
Yeah.
background stuff you hear is all Michael Anthony.
Yeah.
And that guy's, it's like an angel, dude.
Totally.
It blows me away how beautiful those harmonies and stuff
Yeah,
are.
absolutely. I think half of it too is like, how can anybody sing with David Lee Roth though? Like he was just an animal. Like the guy was too crazy. His vocal melodies were insane. Like he did all the sounds. Like he was just so
Wow. Yeah,
he
all
was
that
just
shit.
he was overwhelming in a lot of different ways, but that's why I like it. But with Sammy Hagar, dude, his voice is clean cut, professional, and beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, Michael Anthony was able to probably just hop on board and be like, dude, I can sing with you. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, two different camps. I love them both. I really do, but I do prefer David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth.
Yeah, that's me.
Dope.
Yeah, we had this conversation at Music Around all the time.
Really?
Yeah. And I think
Fist
at
fights.
Music Around, Hagar was the underdog,
Really?
I think, if I remember correctly.
But that makes so much sense. Like, you saw that scene from Joe Dirt,
Right.
where he's like actually describing his fascination with rock and roll, and he says that one line where he's like, "Oh yeah, I really love Van Halen, not Van Hagar," and I was just like, "Oh man."
Van Hagar.
But it makes sense though too, because it was a change for a lot of people that weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Like literally hard rock, literally sleeping with women, like literally making women cry, dancing the night away, all these great songs, and then all of a sudden it turned into like this amazing feeling that got more like
It was refined.
chicks. There was a lot more chicks involved in that
Dude,
one.
yeah, because it pandered to a wider audience.
Yep.
It wasn't music for dudes anymore. It was music for everybody.
Right, and on the Power Rangers too. I was freaking out when I first heard the song "Dreams" on the Power Rangers movie. At the end, right at the end, it was like, "Oh, yeah, look, it's Zordon or something stupid," and then it's just like, I was just like, "Fuck, this is amazing!" And then when I ended up finding out it was Van Halen, I didn't even know it was Van Halen. I was like, "Oh my god, this is the song off of Power Rangers."
Yeah.
And then I found out it's Van Halen. It's like, wait, this is the same fucker that did Running with the Devil? And then you hear the story of it and stuff. And it's just like, great. They didn't even last.
Yeah.
And then they tried to do a reunion tour and they fought with each other.
And that fell apart.
But they're really cool. Again, just music is amazing. I can go hours and hours on music, dude. Like just talking about the randomest things. Like, how versed are you in black metal?
Dude, black metal was introduced to me by our drummer Jesse, actually. And so, of course, we know like Mayhem is like the one every
true black metal.
Yeah,
There's only
true
three.
cult.
There's only three.
Yeah, so like I know of those bands. One of my favorite, like I guess they would be considered like, I don't know. There's so many subgenres like melodic black metal.
Don't you hate that?
It's so hard to keep track of.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Music should be music.
Right. Yeah, totally. But there's this band, and I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, but I love them. They're called Carrick Angren.
Okay.
So good. That band is so sick. Cradle of Filth, even though they're not really considered black metal anymore.
They're like symphonic black metal.
Yeah, they're like symphonic black metal. But that's the kind of stuff that I like when it comes to black metal, and it's not true cult at all. So I'll get slaughtered online for saying like these band names, but that's like my involvement, and I was introduced to a lot of that kind of stuff by Jesse, our drummer.
Dope. And you know what's crazy too is like, did you kind of like go into a little bit of the history and stuff about that? Like even the way like Mayhem just like killed himself.
Yeah.
He blew off his head. And
Yeah.
the way that they wanted to record their music, they're like, we don't want to be like thrash metal. Fuck thrash metal. We want to make our own music on a fucking 15-watt amp with the microphone and a cup on the microphone to get the worst sound we can, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That history blows me away.
Dude.
Because they were literally, I don't want to say cult-like, but building a following that just overtook so much.
Yeah.
Church burnings?
Dude, I know. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, I mean, they really did start like this musical revolution. It was insane. And yeah, the whole story with Mayhem and like the album cover and all that stuff, it's like so nuts.
Yeah.
Those guys were like off the hook. Wild.
Up there.
You know, but they created this music that started like a culture.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy.
That it's so crazy to think about that too, because they literally don't consider any other bands besides those three as black metal.
Right.
So like Immortal or like Emperor and stuff like that, those weren't considered true black metal because they wanted better sound quality.
Yeah.
They wanted to fix the sound more.
Right.
And people like Dark Throne and Bergeron and Mayhem were just like pussies. Bunch of pussies.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. The bad sound quality is like what made it.
Yeah.
You know? But like I love Emperor. Thank you for reminding me. Like,
They got some dope ass riffs, man.
Dude, they're so sick. Yeah, Ishan is like an insane player.
Yeah.
So cool. And yeah, bands like that, and the way it evolved, it came from like, all right, let's fix the audio quality. Let's record this right. And they played black metal, you know? And then it got symphonic, and then it got progressive, and it got, you know, like all this stuff. It started infiltrating it and just creating this new music that really no one had heard before.
Dope.
So super cool stuff.
Out of this wide array of music genres that are out there, stoner rock, thrash metal, the new wave of British heavy metal. What is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I do. Progressive metal.
Okay.
Would be my favorite.
Okay, and is that because of the really deep concepts of not only the music but the albums and stuff as well?
I love all that stuff. I don't think it's necessary to call yourself a progressive act. Like, you don't need a concept album, but when a band puts in that extra effort,
Well, then you're a cool speed metal band.
what attracted me to it was just the musicianship.
Okay.
Like time signatures and just the craziness of it all, and how basically you're taking musical chaos and you're creating something cohesive out of it.
Dope.
And that's what I loved.
Okay.
Taking chaos and like subduing it and controlling it into something that makes sense, kind of. Like, you have to train your ear to some extent to be able to really appreciate it, because when there's a compound time signature happening, it sounds like noise almost. Like, my brain can't understand this, it's too much. But the more you listen to it, you're able to hear, like, okay, this instrument is on 5 right now.
Yeah.
It's doing this.
It blows me away, yeah.
It's crazy, dude. So that's what I loved about it. There were just the intricacies of it, and being able to kind of dig deep and find little hidden things in there. It's just so cool.
That's dope.
So yeah, progressive metal is my thing.
I love one of Dream Theater's albums. What is it called? The Yeti Jam? No, that's a song, right?
Yeti Jam is a song. I think that one's on. I think that was on Majesty.
Anyways, they have a song called Afterlife on Majesty as well, right?
Afterlife is on, I believe,
because I remember it's with the Yeti Jam.
Awake.
Is it on Awake?
Is it?
I think it's on the Yeti. Yeah. It's with the Yeti Jam as well.
Is it with the Yeti Jam?
It's that guy that's on the portrait. He's
so that is Majesty. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's on there.
Okay.
That's where the first time, I really understood the time signature thing for the Afterlife thing, because in the beginning, you hear it, he hits the drum signature right with the guitars, like dun, 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 and then the next round, it's like on the 5th or whatever.
Right.
I wish I knew music theory so much. It blows me away, though, because I feel it. I'm just like... Dude, he missed it, but he didn't, because it's his own signature. Well, it's not his own, but it's developed in a different time.
Right.
And it blows me away, because there's so many lines like that too, where they'll be doing like a keyboard solo with a guitar solo.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it just jumps off to like a different thing where it's just like 5/4, and I'm just like, where the fuck did this come from?
Yeah.
But how does that even relate to music? Like, I guess I'm not that good of a musician to know how to do that. So most of the riffs that I feel I play are all just 4/4. I'm just like, yeah. And then all of a sudden it ends up sounding like a fucking thrash metal riff or something like that.
Okay.
How do you know when you start to transition into different time signatures and just the way it feels and stuff? Like,
yeah. So the easiest way to do it is take your favorite riff that's in 4.
Okay.
And add an extra note at the end of it.
An extra note at the end of it.
And now it's in 5. So, basically do that. So
what's a universal riff that we can work on right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. So yeah, Crazy Train's in 4.
Okay.
Take Crazy Train and just add an extra note on it. So
dun, 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 dun,
dun, dun, dun. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. And I'm saying 4 twice. Say 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
But the 4th is the same note that's going to hit the 5th time.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you can change the note. So I'm trying to explain it in this kind of a weird way, but that makes sense in my mind.
So if I was using the metronome,
right,
and the metronome was in this like the
the same timbre each time, right?
In that, there should be a 5th note at the end of that.
Yeah. So just count it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And whatever you play has to fall into 5. And it repeats on the 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and it works for every single time signature.
Okay.
So basically here's the easiest way to do it. Find a scale, play 5 notes in time. Dun, 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 dun,
with that same,
dun, dun,
the
dun.
same 4/4 going on.
Yeah, so because that right there is like an androgynous tempo. There's no downbeat or 1.
Yeah.
It's just the same sound every time. So you can count it any way you want. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add as many beats as you want.
Okay.
So the best way to learn about time signatures, now I'm thinking about it, is take a scale and play an equal number of notes to whatever time signature you're in. So if you're in 5, play 5 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're in 7, play 7 notes. 1, 2, 3.
I'm so
4,
confused
5,
right now. Okay,
6,
here's an
7.
example. Because I've been trying to fucking learn this, and I feel like I keep fucking it up. Okay, so that goes on, right?
Right.
And I play a scale, 3 notes per string, all the way to the 6th, all the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, from the top to the bottom. What am I doing? Am I playing whole notes? Am I playing quarter notes? Am I playing half notes? Because I'll get to a sense where I'm doing a scale where I'm just like dun 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 dun. I'm so confused. I get confused when I start playing with it, and I feel like I get lost. I'm like, oh no, I fucked up. Oh no, I think I went too fast. I think I went too slow.
Yeah.
Like, how do you develop the great feel with the metronome?
Yeah, so I mean, what you're talking about there is just the notation, quarter notes, eighth notes, and things like that, and they're just doubles of each other.
Okay.
So if this is a quarter note, this is an eighth note, this is a 16th, and this is a 32nd, and the 64th I can't do.
Yeah, but if that's going on, how many notes do I know how to play in between that I just did? So if it's just going like,
well, if it doesn't have a downbeat, then you can play an infinite amount of notes, and it'll never repeat. But if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, because you know where 1 is, so you have to either repeat your root note or start a new phrase on 1. Okay. Otherwise, you're not in the time signature. So you have to have a downbeat. Otherwise, stuff like that with androgynous tempos is perfect for speed, because you don't have to worry about where 1 is, So if you're working on a lick, that's how I work on licks. Is I'll make sure there's no downbeat, and it's so much easier to just pay attention to what you're playing and feel the timing of it. But if you want to figure out time signatures, you have to have a downbeat. A downbeat will always tell you where you're at, no matter what. Okay. And that's why, like, say you're playing a song and you get off tempo. That's why it feels so weird. It's because you're no longer in sync with that downbeat and the tempo. And it just feels like you get that crawling skin feeling, you know?
Because, I feel like I have that problem, especially when I'm trying to do a sweep arpeggio. Because with, like, single line note licks and stuff like that, it's kind of easier to follow, because I know, like, within each of those claps, I should play 3 notes, 3 notes, 3 notes. But because they're on each string. So it's like da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. But when I'm doing it as a scale, like, or an arpeggio with the sweep up, I feel like I'm confused, because I guess I have a really bad pattern where I do a 5-string arpeggio. Okay. So I do a 5-string arpeggio, the D minor arpeggio on the 15th fret, the basic shape everybody knows. But I don't do the hammer on or pull off on the 12. Yeah. You know how you kind of like hit 12, hammer on to 15, and then do the sequence? Yeah. And then go back up? I never do that. I always start from the 15, go down, and I double hit the last note. Dun 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 dun. Or I'll tap the next one. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of doing the root one of that. And is that just not following the same time signature, or I'm so confused. It's so difficult.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, we'd have to sit down and figure this out. But as long as it has the same number of notes in it, like, play the arpeggio the way it's supposed to with the hammer on, right? Yeah. Count the notes. It's like, okay, there's 8 notes here.
16.
Or 16 notes here, right? And then play it the way you play it and count the notes. If you have 15 notes, then you know you need to add something somewhere else.
That's where I do at the end.
Like, so you play it twice, right?
Yeah. At the end, I'll do the same note twice, where it's like dun 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 dun. Right. So it's 2 notes at the end instead of at the beginning.
Yeah, and if it equals 16 notes, then it should be in the same time. You know, as long as it's played to the tempo, it'll feel relatively the same. Okay. So yeah, man, time signatures are so weird and stuff like that, because everybody has their own feel, and some people lag behind the beat, some people are ahead of the beat, some people like smack dab on it. It just
That's
depends.
what I want to be.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just practice, man. Like, and what I would encourage you to do is like play with the downbeats and just play in those odd time signatures, because like we can throw on like 7 or something, which is one of my favorites. If I can find I've put all my apps into these folders, and now I don't know where anything is.
No.
It's because I'm doing the iOS 14 beta, so that's pretty cool.
First of all, this is a Samsung household.
I'm sorry. So 120 beats per minute, 7/4.
See, that's so off. Like, I hear it and I was like, God damn, I didn't count it.
Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that throwing a metronome like that with that downbeat, because that already sounds weird.
And so would you follow each of the notes with the actual hit of the beat? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, repeat. 1, 2, 3. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, repeat. Or is it inside of there? Like I can hit 2 or 3 notes within one of those.
Yeah, so dig it, 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 dig it. So we can like write a riff. Dig it, 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 did it, did it. So you can play around with it a lot.
Okay.
So to learn, I would mess around with just like hitting the notes on the beat, just to get the feel of 7 or any odd time signature. And then the more you get used to that feeling, you can just like the shackles are off.
Okay.
You know it now, and you can play anything to it. I think on our new record that we're still working on, I think one of my favorite choruses is in 7. And what I've been trying to experiment with on this new record is how to make odd time signatures not feel odd by like playing with the offbeat a lot, which is really weird. So one of the songs is in 7, but it feels like it's in 4 because
it's still very you go in with it.
Yeah, and you'll never figure out that it's in 7, even though it totally is, because there's such a thing as offbeat. So when you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you play with offbeats and accentuate those, it changes the feel of that signature. So sometimes I'll write something in 4 and it feels totally odd time, but it's just in 4.
It's in 4. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and is that based off of maybe how many notes you threw in there, or is it just because of the way that the feel of the notes after each other?
It's dictated by rhythm pretty much solely.
So then pretty much how many notes you put in that section at that time.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing the 7 thing, there could be the chug where it actually has 4 notes. Dun, 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 and it goes back into that metric or whatever beat that we're trying to get into.
Yeah, it always returns to 1.
That's crazy.
Is the thing. Which is cool.
Yeah, that's some practice right there.
That's those are the deep concepts.
I know what I'm doing tonight. Jesus, because I do have this really bad habit of just doing mindless practice where I feel like I'm practicing, but I don't know if I'm advancing in a significant way. And I know I am. I know I don't give a fuck if I say I'm not.
Yeah.
I know I'm not probably doing it in the most efficient or fastest way, but I know the fact that I'm playing, I'm getting better.
Exactly.
But with those little hints and details, those are little things that do help. That could help to help my playing in different time signatures and stuff.
Totally.
Because I really want to get good at alternate picking, like everything. Like there's been so many times where I start alternate picking and turns into a legato lick because my left hand is way faster than my right hand. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I have to slow it all down. And then when you go to the slow point, you do it for like 20 minutes. Like, this is boring. Like, fuck.
I know.
But you have to do it.
You got to do it, dude.
And if you don't, you're never going to get to the cool fucking fast licks and stuff.
I know, dude. It's the struggle. It's like all we want to do as musicians is play. And like we don't want to work as much as we ought to.
Yeah.
That was always my struggle growing up, for sure. All I want to do is play AC/DC. I didn't want to learn your circle of fifths. But, eventually, sometimes you just bite the bullet and you're like, okay, I understand that this is going to help. and you just like, all right, I'm going to do the not fun stuff for a while.
That's
and it's going to make the fun stuff even more fun.
Exactly.
It's just a mindset flip. It's so hard to do.
That's exactly what I post on my Twitch when I stream. I'm like, the boring stuff you don't want to see.
Right.
That's it. All I say, because I'm sitting there literally. And they're like, are you going to play anything? I'm like, I got to practice first.
Right.
And then it turns into more of like the interaction thing. But it's the practice that gets those riffs and stuff really good.
Right.
Because there's been some times where I'm just like, God damn it, I suck at my down picking. I need to get way better.
Yeah.
So I end up learning like Master of Puppets or something. When I first did it, I kind of like alternate picked it. Yeah. And you kind of can see the difference when you just do straight down pick. Yeah. And that's beautiful.
So much more aggressive.
It sounds so sick.
Yeah.
Like literally. Didn't Dream Theater do a cover or at least an intro of Master of Puppets?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it was Master of Puppets. In the middle of their song "As I Am" live, they throw that in the middle of the song, and then they transition back.
And I first heard that John Petrucci alternate picks that.
He does,
and I was so amazed because I thought that was cool. I was like, "Oh my god, that's cool! That's so quick because it's so fast!" Like but then I met some other people that I actually started jamming a band with, and they're like, "Oh, why don't you downpick that whole thing?" I'm just like, "But John Petrucci."
Right.
But they're like, "That's not how it should be. It actually sounds a little bit better if you do a downpick." And it does.
Yeah.
It fucking blows me away.
Yeah, dude. I'm a lazy person, and I also alternate pick.
No.
But
Zach Wild. We got to Zach Wild that shit.
Yeah. So our new bass player is actually just an unbelievable guitar player. And he is like a metalhead through and through, dude. Like Metallica all the way, just knows this stuff by heart. And dude, his down pick is monstrous,
dirty,
so sick. Yeah, dude. I'm like always so impressed when he plays like any Metallica riffs because it's just always down pick, like Hetfield style, just brutal, so sick. Yeah, but dude, I'm a loser, man. I alternate pick that stuff.
I feel your pain, dude. I so feel it. I'm just like, oh man, god damn it. I need to start fucking down picking Slayer stuff. That should be down picked, man.
All down picked, dude.
That's beautiful, though. But then that's just another developed skill that comes out.
Yeah, something that you need to practice.
What's one thing that you're still working on? Well, obviously, everything has to be worked on. In music, you should work on everything. But what's like a new skill or something developing that you've been working on that's kind of like you don't really introduce on stage or you don't really do as much because you don't feel comfortable with it? Right.
I think, like, in this world of modern music, the skill that I really want that I don't have right now is, like, two-handed tapping.
Okay.
We have one song on our record that we released last year that has a clean section that's two-handed tapped. That's really cool. That's the only time I've ever written anything like that. And I want to get better at it because, man, it's like basically turning your guitar into a piano in a certain way because you can play so many more notes and they can interact with each other and it's really pretty. And so I really do love that style of playing. So that's something that I'm like kind of chipping away at pretty slowly right now.
Dope.
That like one day I definitely want to get up to speed. But that's off the top of my head. I mean, there's so many. There's so many. Like sweep arpeggios, to be honest, I suck at.
Really?
Yeah, I would really love to learn how to like properly sweep.
Get them better and stuff.
Yeah,
and that's a development.
Yeah, exactly. I've never really because I learn a skill when I write something that I feel like it needs it. You know, that's like been my process of learning for a really long time now. So like at a certain point, I didn't really know how to like tremolo pick that well. But I wanted to write this solo that had tremolo picking in it. So like practice for weeks and learn how to tremolo pick and then put it in the solo. And that was that. So I need to write a solo that has like good arpeggios in it.
Dope. That just, it turns into an exercise into a song.
Exactly.
Dope.
Yeah. Because that's how that first two-handed tapping part that I wrote worked.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to try it. And then through trying it, I wrote something and that ended up in a song.
Dope.
Yeah. So that's what I need to do with more two-handed tapping and sweep arpeggios.
Dope. That's true. Yeah. I think one thing that I should practice on more too is hybrid picking.
Hybrid picking, yeah.
That's a doozy. Like I get a little chopped up on that where I'm just like, oh man, I just drop my pick and end up just finger picking. I'm just like, no, I need to hold the pick because there's certain licks that you can do.
Yep.
That sounds so electrifying.
Right.
I still need to work on it, but I don't know how they do it. I'm just like, God damn, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
What's
crazy.
one of the guys I listen to a lot that does it a lot? Rick Granham, I think his name is. He's an Instagram guy, but he does a lot of he's worked on with a bunch of records of a bunch of other people and stuff.
Sick.
Who else uses it a lot? Buckethead.
Buckethead.
I love Buckethead's. Well, he's just a god in himself.
Dude, that guy is so mysterious, and I love every part of it.
I've seen him every time he's come here.
Dude, I missed him when he came to Meow Wolf last time.
Oh, why? What's wrong with you?
I think I ended up like having to work that night, and I just couldn't make the show. So pissed. But yeah, I wanted to go. I love Buckethead.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's so sick, dude.
Got to touch his guitar, the button.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
The toy. I've got a toy from him before too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Every time he's come here, I've always seen him, and it's just beautiful.
Dude.
It's one of those. I even go to the Sunshine Theater like 5 hours before the show, just to make sure I'm gonna be the first one.
Right.
That's
just at the stage.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, dude.
I stand in line. I'm just like, God damn it.
I've done that for Coheed and Cambria so many times.
Dope.
So many times.
That's a band that I've really have not seen that I've wanted to a lot.
Dude, insane live shows. Like, dangerous. Like,
You're like, you would think, right?
Dude, crowd surfers, so many crowd surfers have fallen on me.
Damn.
I'm always at the rails, me and my girlfriend, because that's like our band. You know,
Yeah.
we always go and see them every time. So,
Dope.
yeah, they're electrifying live. So sick.
And it's crazy to think about too, because when I was younger, I used to always make fun of the Coheed and Cambria singer.
Yeah.
Be like, check it out, guys. I'm like Coheed and Cambria. But they're amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I love their
Dude,
music.
Nobody sounds like him.
Yeah.
He's just got the most unique voice ever.
He's Hispanic.
That's right. Yeah, dude. Claudio Sanchez.
It's New Mexico.
That's
It's the
it.
Mexican in him, or whatever Hispanicness he has.
Yeah, man, super unique. That's what I'm into, I think, more than anything these days, is like, how unique are you?
Dope.
And even if that unique is like exotic and weird, like, I'm still into it. I want to be hearing like that forward thinking, like, new, fresh stuff.
Yeah. Or even that you just get discovered to it.
Yeah.
Something I was discovered to not too long ago was Super Euro Beats.
Mhm.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
That's just like techno music, but they do have insane guitar in it.
Yeah.
And I just got blown away. I was just like, dude, that's so sick. That's just like,
Yeah.
night on fire, ding, 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 ding. And it's all of a sudden it's like, I'm
Yeah.
just like, whoa, that's beautiful. Like,
Yeah, dude.
that just different avenue and stuff of how music can be played. I hear a lot of pop songs now too, especially with the uprise of Spotify and stuff.
Right.
Bunch of these musicians that are just intermingling together.
Yeah.
I hear this pop song. It's like, everybody just wants me, and then all of a sudden in the middle there's this giant guitar solo that just
Yeah.
drops. Like great clean setting, amazing arpeggios going on. I'm just like,
Dude, it's so cool.
how does that happen?
Yeah, man. I remember being
Evolution.
freaked out with Charlie Puth's most recent record called Voice Notes.
Okay.
And the first song is called, I think that's Just the Way I Am, or Just the Way I Am. And it starts off with this guitar line. It's like, and it's
shit.
doing like 16th notes, and then the drums come in like with the double kick. So it's like guitar and double kick starting off this pop song.
Dope.
And it's syncopated. I'm like, what? This is insane. And it was so cool just to hear like I don't know. He probably didn't listen to some metal track and hear like, oh, guitar and drums should be syncopated. You know, I'm sure he just came up with it.
Yeah,
But it's
he
like,
liked the sound.
yeah, but because that's the stuff I listen to, it's like I draw a comparison. I'm like, that's a guitar line, and that's like a syncopated double kick, and that's the coolest thing in the world. So
Yeah.
it's fun to hear and pick out those types of things where you're like, do you think they got inspired by
Right.
what I really like and what I'm really into? Whether they did or not, as long as you can draw that comparison, it makes it so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, you hear it all the time too. One thing that I find it a lot is in violin players and keyboard players
Yeah.
is like they follow a lot of the same musical scales that guitar players do.
Yeah.
Like they, even if you try to variation, like Mixolydian or whatever,
Right.
dude, that's the same thing. Like it's so crazy.
Yeah, dude, I know, it's cool, man. That's the thing about stringed instruments, and violins are tuned weird, and all like
I think it's in the
traditional.
fourth.
Yeah,
I got
exactly.
into it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a violin player.
Yeah,
I tried at least one of every instrument. I tried it.
heck yeah.
But it's in a fourth, right? And then I actually tried a cheap violin, so it like really deterred me from the sound of it.
Right.
But again, if you try a $5,000 violin, maybe I would like it better.
Dude, I know a person whose viola is like a $30,000 viola. Damn. It's like unbelievable.
That they play?
Yeah.
What?
And like she's like professional. She's so good.
Jesus.
But yeah, like dude, those instruments get way more expensive than that. Way more expensive. The classical instruments are insane, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to spend money on an instrument, you like $100,000 viola easy.
Those are freaking art pieces in itself.
Yeah, but they're usable and they get used. So like when you go see like a real deal orchestra, like you have no idea how much money's on that stage.
Damn.
Unbelievable amounts of money.
Very true.
Yeah, and that's like the only instrument they own. Like that is their pride and joy.
Yeah.
You know, so cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man, I love that.
Well, Jaden, we've actually been here for 2 hours now.
Dude, it hasn't even felt like an hour yet.
Just chilling. We've had some few people chime in the comments.
Cool.
Thomas, thank you for joining. You're awesome. He was just talking about I'm an alien, lizards. Yes, I like Muse. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Donald Dolan.
Dolan.
I don't think if I'm saying that.
Dolan Duck.
That's for Michael Jackson's song. He's a Virgo to me. Dude, Uncle D's here. Well, thank you for joining, Uncle D. You're awesome.
Uncle D.
Yeah, dude. Just we do this all the time. Just have some fun. Just chat it up. I've actually had a few times like we play music on here.
Oh, that's sick.
So if you're down, we want to have you back on the show.
Yes.
What we usually do is just like some random drum track and we just bounce off of each other.
Yeah.
Just some random things. Just
Dude, that sounds like so much fun.
so yeah, dude, we got to schedule another date and stuff. We got to get you on here again. But I do appreciate you coming.
Yes.
Give it up for Jaden, everybody. Give it up, everybody. This guy's awesome. Local legend. Local legend. If you guys don't know him, make sure to follow him all social media sites. Give out some plugs. Where can they find your stuff? In music wise, your vlog, everything, everything. Just throw it out there, man.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at my first and last name, Jaden Lueras. Facebook at the same name, of course. I just started a vlog, which has been a lot of fun. And again, that's the same name on YouTube. And my band is called Patema, and we just released an album called Fathom last year, October, actually Halloween Day. Dope. Last year. So if you want to check out that and hear what I'm talking about with these time signatures and stuff, because we have a lot of fun with those concepts and that music, you can find that on Apple Music, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere else.
Dope.
That's it, man. Dude, thank you for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, man, for
This is
sure.
so much fun.
Yeah, dude, it's so great. And we probably barely got into the nitty gritty of what we can talk about.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even talk about glam metal.
Right.
Dude, that's my favorite genre.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking, I get so much shit and I'm just like, you know what? Those guys got more pussy than any of us.
Dude, it's true, man. Glam metal, those guys are on top of the world.
So, yeah, we're gonna have you back, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
I do appreciate you, dude.
Yeah.
You guys know what to do. You guys follow me, all social media sites, everything, MuseMe TV. Dude, literally just Google MuseMe TV. I swear to God, I'll be the first thing that pops up. Like literally,
true.
Just check it out. MuseMe TV, everybody. We'll have some more guests coming on here soon. And make sure to go check out all of his stuff that he just mentioned. You guys remember that shit. You guys take it easy. We love you all. If this song ever plays.